Back with another video with the Dragon. Here we have a quad dominant leg workout. Usually on my leg days, I'm shooting for 6 to 7 exercises depending on how much food I've gotten in. Working with clients in person has made it a little bit more difficult to get the amount of carbs needed in, but no excuses. We are working through it. So I have not recorded the glute drive, nor have I recorded the seated calf raises. This was my, I did 2 warm-ups before this set. This is like my first working set. I'm just working on depth, seeing how everything is feeling, seeing what weight I'm going to be using for the majority of the squat. Again, I'm trying to make this as quad dominant as humanly possible without a lot of hinging at the hip. The first stance that I do for my top sets is, a little bit, we'll call it a shoulder width stance. And I think that does a good job of, although it's focusing on quad activation, I think it does a really good job of hitting the entirety of the leg. You can see my depth's getting a little bit better. The weight here is 275. The previous weight was 225. For those of you who use kg, do the math for me. But we're doing in pounds for now. And you can kind of see here, I'm not necessarily doing like full hypertrophic specific reps where I'm kind of just firing on all cylinders. I'm just trying to get my legs and my lower back as warmed up as humanly possible, and just seeing how everything feels. Now, 275, I did that obviously for a set, and then I believe I moved my stance to a narrow stance and put a 25 weight underneath my feet, so that kind of creates a little bit more heel elevation. I'm wearing Converse shoes that basically has no heel elevation, and now I've really targeted the quads at this point. So 3 reps, 4 reps. Now I'm just driving blood directly into the muscle. One thing that I try to preach with clients and myself alike is, after you finish a set and you don't really feel the blood pump move into the desired muscle group, you might want to consider either A, changing the modality of how you're trying to train, or B, really try to focus on the amount of weight being lifted, because you might be doing too much. So, for me, I think I actually did a test set at 275 narrow stance, and I just wasn't feeling that quad activation. But then when I switched it to 225, I felt a lot better. So I go with what feels better, not necessarily for my lower back. Everything felt great. 275 felt fine. I just say wearing no belt. Everything feels stable. Everything feels tight. But I'm really going for a quad-specific exercise to grow those babies up. So if I feel it in my glutes, or I feel it in my hamstrings, or I get, I guess, the need for trying to ego lift, it kind of diverts away from what the main priority is, which is growth. So that way, when you step back on stage, when you leave off season, you look like you've actually done the work to showcase the physique. You're not just getting, progressively higher in weight with absolutely no return on the muscle reward. That doesn't make any sense. I think maybe as I've gotten older, it's been a lot easier to decrease the weight because, the stimulus that I feel the following day is fantastic. I don't get any lower back stress or anything that feels like trauma related. As you see, I'm a little tired, sweat's coming. So now, like I said, I did 2 exercises before this, and I did the 2 different variations of the squat. Now I'm doing a single leg, quad-specific press on this. Not my favorite leg press. There's 2 other leg presses that I usually use that have a much bigger platform, so you can really kind of space out your feet. This has like a tiny platform, probably just enough to do the desired training around the quad. So we wasn't really sure in terms of like how to load this because I never really used this, but yeah, here we are. So just doing it, trying to do what I can, rotating the legs after every rep. One thing you might notice is that my left leg is probably a lot weaker than my right. I won't say a lot, but definitely significantly different, both in size and also the strength. And for those of you who followed me when I had my back issue, the left leg was the one that had all of the severe sciatica. So I don't know. I also had knee surgery on that knee. I don't know if that has anything to do with it as well. But depth, range of motion, and even full extension on this leg still doesn't feel great on this specific movement. So I go enough till I feel my quad flex, and then I bring it down. I do get a little bit of, I don't want to say like nerve pain, but I can feel that the nerve is being stretched and pulled when I do this, when I'm locked into the seat like that. So I do need to be careful of that, make sure I'm not exacerbating or causing any like lower back flares, because that would simply set us back. I am happy to say that even going through 2 leg days, I'm considering at this point doing 3 leg days to really blow up the legs in off season for the next couple months. It's been really good not to feel like my lower back is in any flared up state or any jeopardy there. So fingers crossed with that, and just being very intelligent about the loading, the rest in between, and like I said, the nutrition. And then the most important thing at the very end is how your quality of sleep and how well you're resting at night. So I did that. Felt good. Got a great pump in my quads. And then the third specific thing that I did for the quads was a leg extension. So again, not my favorite machine. Seemed like everything that I was going to was taken. I just finished a client, so I think I ate a meal at 8 a.m. and then I trained my client at 11. And I had an intra-workout carb drink. I think it's around, let's see, probably close to 80 grams. And then I also had some Rice Krispie treats. I probably brought it closer to 100 grams. So I'm not training fasted by any means, but typically like a little bit more food in my stomach when I go into these days. I didn't feel gassed or winded until the very, very end. But yeah, generally pretty good. This is a good angle for the leg extension, kind of showcasing the quad a little bit. The right side, I don't know if it's just the angle, but definitely looks a little bit more pumped than the left. As I've said, just a lot of fun issues on the left side between the ACL tear, meniscus tear, and then the sciatica that was raging for, during the disc herniation era. Still trying to pretty much force as much growth as I can so that way they look as even as humanly possible when I present them on stage. And then just in general, as I move more into athletic-based movements or range of motion, mobility, all that fun stuff, I want to make sure that there's no like glaring apparent weakness between the two, because that could add up over time as well. And how you stand, how you move around, how you shuffle from side to side. So trying to eliminate that as best I can. Believe I did 3 working sets. Not pictured is 2 warm-up sets just to kind of figure out the weight. By this point, I'm used to doing like the full stack if I'm remotely fresh. I think I was doing like 3/4 of the stack, just getting a really crazy good pump. There's some half reps that come at the very end. As I kind of explain to clients, I really try to find the pain. That's maybe not the greatest expression. I try to find the point of uncomfort, and then I also try to do a little bit extra, even if they're not full range of motion reps, but I try to squeeze and just crank as much blood as I can. I feel like that's been really helping drive up additional volume week over week with my lifts, and I don't necessarily have to go up higher in total weight, and it's paying off. Finished with adductors. Pictured is 2 sets. I believe we did 3 sets. Typically, like I said, 6 to 7 exercises, 3 to 4 sets of working. Brings me to just slightly over where I need to be to grow. As pictured here, if you don't normally do this exercise, what you'll see is like people doing like basically half of the range of motion that I'm doing. But I get a full stretch, I hold that stretch, and I use my adductor muscles to close the gap through some decent intensity, and I'm squeezing the whole way through. I do like this exercise quite a bit because it's very easy to go to failure safely. There was a guy that did this before, and he's just got the full stack, and he's doing like these little micro baby reps, and it's kind of reminiscent of the leg press that day too. A guy loads up the leg press with 15 plates, and you're going a quarter of the way down. It's like, what does that do? I don't know what that does. I know it's not working the muscle, So if you find yourself in that camp, I really highly recommend that you lower the weight, get full range of motion, get an awesome stretch, and then power your way through with nice, moderate intensity. And you will definitely thank yourself, and your body will thank you for the rewards that you gain over time. This workout is something that, for my clients, we're trying to get back to. If you suffered a lower back injury, like there's aspects of maybe even some exercises within this training program that will help you get better and allow you to get back to this consistent training variable of 4 to 5 days a week, which is ultimately going to grow you that muscle. So that is the video. Thank you for tuning in if you stayed this long. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, throw me a message on YouTube. And for all coaching inquiries, you can reach out to me on Instagram at @thekreitzer. Goodbye.